What's good, fam? How are y'all doing tonight? Here in Houston, it is a very rainy day. And how can I forget? Happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. I hope you have spent it in a very fun filled, relaxing way. However, whatever that may look like, comment what did you do to celebrate Juneteenth? I'd really like to know what you did to make this day special. Um, the color for Juneteenth is red. And so I typically try to drink something red or wear something red. Didn't do that tonight, but I got my red lipstick on, I guess. But I do right now. I have this. My husband has me on this lemonade and Kool Aid thing. I from time to time, and right now he's got black cherry Kool Aid mixed with the Simply Lemonade, and so I'm drinking that tonight. That is my red drink. Happy Juneteenth, everybody! Yeah. Hmm. Tonight we have a topic that has been on my mind a little bit, but something occurred. I saw something on social media that occurred that made me really question, are we really in it to win it? Like, are we looking for long term relationships? Are we looking for marriage as like a goal? And then I'm going to share with you this video and we can talk a little bit about it and how it's going to segment into this question that I'm asking, because it seems as if we are out in these streets and nobody wants to get married. Nobody wants a long-term relationship. And that bothers me. It really truly does, simply because I know the value of a marriage, the value of a family, and not to mention God told us to go out and be fruitful. So to introduce this topic, I want us to take a look at this video that thanks to Iceberg Slim, who sent me this video, that he introduced me to this video. So, to give you a backstory, there is this dating game on YouTube where a woman, it's a man, I think it's like three men, uh, they come up and they have the option to basically uh, question and introduce themselves to not several, but multiple young women. And they have balloons. And if the woman is not interested in the man, whether that be his looks, whether that be, something he said, then they pop the balloon. So there's this man who has come on, and there's several women popping their balloons, popping, popping, popping. And the the segment is sad but funny at the same time, because you got to laugh so you don't cry. But it's interesting to see the dynamic between the male and the females. And let me show you what this video is about. I was quite surprised, honestly, at how this went on. I'm sorry. Let's see. Because this is, yeah, interesting to say the least. Pop this open. My, it's kind of slow. Let's see, share my screen with you guys. Okay, well, it looks like I am having some technical, um, but I'll definitely put the link in the description below. But it was very interesting because the gentleman came out. It's called Pop the Balloon. And again, I'll put the description, the link in there, description below. It's called Pop the Balloon. And the gentleman came out with a typical alpha male. Uh, and but I must say, he he would indicated he was the girls weren't qualified. I guess didn't meet his qualifications. They didn't like how he made mention of that. I guess they said his tone. And but he was very respectful. He called them queen. They did not like his directness. And so him and one of the young ladies got into it. He even mentioned, she had arm hair. Thought was a little below the belt, but he, I guess, was upset at some of her comments. And so they go on, and he ends up, going on a date with one of the girls because she was like, "Oh, I'd like to get to know you better." Blah blah blah. Well, long story short, there are some women out there who did not like the way he approached the situation. They didn't like how he was very direct and his tone. So these young ladies, according to the gentleman who was on the show, called his job, according to the plumber guy, more than 500 times. And he was not happy about that. Because of that, he lost his job. Ladies, I I'm disappointed in y'all for that. The gentleman, the poor gentleman, he said what he said, but we're now punishing a gentleman for speaking and being honest and being his true self. We're punishing him because you thought he was disrespectful to this lady. I'm disappointed that we would take it this far. This is how this gentleman lives, survives. And for you, and this cancel culture, I think, just goes to the extreme at times. And this is one of the times that I think it absolutely was uncalled for. I would expect, as a lady, that you, one, would pray for him, but not pray for his downfall. I was very, very disappointed, and it made me wonder, why would we go this far to destroy our men? as opposed to building them up. And if you go in and look, you'll find that there was several um, people who got on after the show that indicated that they were not really truly there to find love, that they were there to get out of situations, that they were there to um for basically publicity reasons. So my question was, are are we in this for long-term relationships? Is marriage even the goal anymore for women and men? Um, Shout out to Monster Cameron. He is in the Philippines. How are you doing, hun? Good seeing you. Mama Bear is in the building. How are you? Good. I want to know. Let's discuss this. Is marriage even a goal for men and women? What is holding us back from true love? So let's first discuss what is true love. What is true love? Is it intense, deep connection? Is it about commitment? Is it about mutual respect and understanding? I don't know. For me, true love is simply outlined in the Bible. 1 Corinthians 13, chapter verse 4, where I don't know, I probably need to memorize this, but it talks about how love is kind, how love um, does not boast. I don't know. What do you think? Um, Monster Cameron said clout is what that show is about. You're right. And the gentleman did indicate in uh his YouTube, I'm sorry, his Instagram post that, the girls were out there for clout chasing and he came, I guess, to actually try to find his significant other. So I agree with you, Monster Cameron. Sometimes you have to understand your audience and your environment. I I wouldn't have gone on that show thinking I could find somebody, but you know, he Monster Cameron also says I got married in the Philippines because the states were too fake. He's from South Florida. You know, I can't speak for everybody, but what I am seeing, at least on this social media, has me concerned. The Facts, it's got me concerned. Mama Bear said she gave up on marriage a long time ago. Okay, so let's kind of jump to that then. Um because even though you gave up on long-term relationships, I'm sorry, marriage, have you given up on long-term relationships? Because I've also noticed talking to other females that although they may not marriage might not be the goal, a long-term relationship would be the goal for them. And I'm just curious, like what's the difference? To me, marriage is traditionally been seen as like the ultimate goal, for a loving relationship. It's very formal commitment. It's recognized by the states, by the law, the government. And it involves a legal contract most of the time. Now, for long-term relationships, uh they're now becoming more common. Maybe it's a cultural thing. Maybe it's this modern world that we're living in. Maybe feminism brought this in. Um, but for some people, it's fulfilling. I don't know how fulfilling it could be without that to me commitment, because I view marriage as um sort of this, you're you have a covenant. You have this contract with this person. Um and I know with long-term relationships you don't have the pressures of society, or legally the pressures, whether that be, prenups, thinking about divorce. And I know the stats are staggering. I think we're at what, 55% now of marriages ending up in divorce. Don't quote me on that. But Mama Bear says, I'm open to the idea of a long term relationship, but too many guys I meet are already in one, and I'm not a side chick. Thank you, Mama Bear, for knowing your worth. Ah, this is volumes, right? This speaks volumes to me, because I have seen a lot of women who are quote unquote happy with being the side chick. And I'm questioning, are you really? Um, but I mean, long term relationships can lead to marriage. Um, I've noticed that a lot of the trends are shifting. A lot of people are doing long term relationships and not marriage. And I'm wanting to know, what you're in a long term relationship. The only difference is a piece of paper. The men are moving in with the women moving in with the men, and they end up being common law marriages. From the men, I would love to hear from the men. Like, is marriage a goal for you guys anymore? Because it seems like it's, when I talk to both men and women, it seems as if the men are more interested in marriage than the women. And I'm like, how did we get to that? What happened to, maybe it's just me. I always wanted to get married. I grew up wanting to get married and have a family. Is it a cultural thing? Is it a societal thing now we've gotten to this point? I mean, women, what are your views on marriage and long-term relationships? Do you still have the goal to get married? Um, Mama Bear said, I'm open to the idea of a long term relationship, but too many guys I meet. Oh, we looked at that one already. Have mercy. I know a lot of good single six-figure engineers, and women don't want them. Why y'all don't want them? I don't believe most women can't find good men. I will agree with you on that one, Master Cameron. I really, truly think that a lot of women have these extensive and probably unrealistic goals set. Shouldn't say goals, but expectations of a man. I really think that a lot of what they have that a man has to have before she could even date or marry them, um, are unrealistic. And I think they really need to step back and truly identify, is those qualities that you're mentioning, the things that you want to see in your man, will that keep a long standing marriage? Because he's tall, will that keep you in your marriage? What if he's maybe 1 or 2 feet shorter? Is it a deal breaker? I don't know. Expectations. We got to talk about expectations on another show because I think we need to reel the expectations in. I think we need to understand what's realistic and what's not. And I understand a lot of women are like, well, you shouldn't tell me that I need to date below, what I consider my standards. Nobody is, but at the same time, you maintain those standards, the pool of men that you get to choose from shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. Like that's simple math. Um, I don't know. Mom Bear says, my daddy was a serial cheater. Monogamy is very important to me. And I definitely get that. I also think that maybe marriage as a goal for women has declined because of the fact that we saw our mothers, we saw our aunts, we saw our cousins go through being very toxic relationships and continue to stay with men who were serial cheaters, and we didn't want that for ourselves because we saw what that did. But I'm here to let you guys know that it is not always the situation. Um, it's not always what you saw is not what always is going to be for you. And I know that's kind of hard to think when that's all you saw. And I think that's why it's important that we as married people, we continue um, to show the world, to be transparent about marriage so that others can see what a healthy marriage looks like, because a marriage is not perfect. It's never is it going to be perfect because we are flesh. Neither you nor I are perfect, so our marriage is not going to be perfect. And I think it's important that we show what a healthy marriage can look like. um Mama Bear said, I'm sorry, Monster Cameron said, women think marriage is slavery. I hate that, especially because of the whole association of submission. And I'm gonna do another live stream about submission and what it means to submit. But I wholeheartedly believe and agree with you on that, Marcia Cameron, that they think marriage is slavery. And it's really truly not. There's a lot of there's a lot of misconceptions that, once you become married, you have no voice anymore. And that's so far from the truth. And maybe that I just did video on some of the top marriage misconceptions. I didn't cover that one because that wasn't in my top 3, but that is definitely one of the misconceptions. Mama Bear said, I think both genders are jaded, knowing I'm one from too many women looking for a wallet and too many men looking for options. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, wallet and options. I like that. I like that. Do you I'm interested to know, how do you think the cultural norms have influenced, let's say, particularly women, on their views of marriage and relationships? Now, I know at least in some cultures, marriage is still highly valued. And I'm one of the people who highly values it. And I know that some people see personal happiness and mutual compatibility should take precedence. And I think that's the case that we have here, is that society has changed, that with the rise of feminism and a bigger emphasis on individual fulfillment, me, that our goals, at least regarding relationships, are evolving into me. And I want to be fulfilled. I want to be happy. Maybe I'm wrong. Um, on Instagram, Tricky Trey said, marriage has made me better, in all caps, better. I know wouldn't be living out my potential without my wife. She has completed me. And this is coming from a guy. Shout out Tricky Trey. How are you? He up in Tennessee. Good to see you. And this is coming from a man. He has said the woman has made him better. And maybe Tricky Trey, maybe this is what we need to show. Maybe this is how we be where we be transparent, that it's not all going to be roses. But guess what, I wouldn't be where I'm not without my husband. I can tell you that for sure. I am a very straight arrow. I used to have the nickname 5 star. This is so telling my age. 5 star, because I don't know if y'all remember back in the day, 5 star used to have these dividers in their notebooks. And they were like, Leslie, you're so organized. Oh my goodness. Da, 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 you're 5 star. So that became my nickname. But my husband is quite the opposite. He is on the opposite end of that spectrum. And we would not be where we are at if it were not for his go get them, let's do it, forget trying to be organized. You just got to push yourself out there type attitude. For real. Like, we as a family would not be where we're at without the both of us. And I hate that people look at marriage in this very dim, dark light because of what they may see on social media, what they may see in their families. Like, what's for you is for you. And you are the author of this story. You decide how your story is going to end. Not your mother, not your father, not your sister, not your cousin, and surely not grandma. You are the author of this story. If you want to get married, get married. If you want to be fulfilled by yourself, be fulfilled by yourself. But I also think that we should not be pushing the narrative of not getting married, because these guys out here ain't worth nothing. Not every guy is like that. Not every woman is like that. How about we push the narrative of, do you, boo? Do what's best for you. If marriage is for you, let it be for you. Let me show you what a healthy marriage looks like. I it, I might be wrong. Let me know. Um, Mama Bear agrees. She said, Feminism isn't what the original goals were." And I agree. I agree. I think we have strayed away from what feminism was really truly meant to be. Um, I'm not for sure if this is what feminism was supposed to look like. But we're here now. Um, I don't know. Monster Kermit, I'll be honest, I would never marry in the US. Too risky for no benefit. Hmm. Okay. So now that you're married in the Philippines, does that mean you would ever come back? Or because of the laws within the US, you choose to stay in the Philippines? Interesting. Mom Bear said, I'd have to agree with you, Cameron. Thankfully, I'm Canadian. Shout out to all my Canadians. Thank you, Mama Bear, again for joining us tonight. Tricky Trey said the goal is to be one flesh, and there are pieces of you missing, and that can only be found in a spouse. Do you guys think you are missing? Do you think that your piece to your puzzle is out there? Tell me. I want to hear. This is some really good, engaging conversation. Um, what are some of your experiences while you were dating? Did you come across anyone in the dating scene that didn't have marriage or a long term relationship as their goal? Did they even tell you why? I I thank you guys for this evening. It's about that time. I we gotta I want to give you guys the rest of Juneteenth to celebrate. And because I know I am gonna go here and hang out with the family, enjoy another little red drink, maybe watch a little TV, relax. But keep the comments going. I definitely want to share your stories. Send me a message, and we will definitely see you guys next week for another topic. And if you are on Instagram, make sure you check out my stories. I have a poll I'm trying to ask: is marriage a goal for men and women anymore? Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you guys. Mwah.